Now available in paperback and Kindle. Vampires stalk the darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. An Aurora police officer who racially profiled a black family in 2020 has filed paperwork to run for Los Animas County Sheriff in November of 2022. Now, your Darian Dasco was allegedly involved in a racial profiling incident where he targeted a black family who were in a vehicle which had the same license plate as one they were looking for, but it came from a completely different state. And as a result, Brittany Gillum and her 4 children, one young as 6 years old, were forced to get on the ground and forced to be put in handcuffs with guns drawn on them. Now, this incident was extremely troubling because it showed that these police officers participated in a racial profiling incident, and what's even more troubling is the fact that this officer, after being punished and reprimanded, where he lost 160 hours in a suspension and lost his position as a field training officer, is now able to go out here and then go to another police department and then run as a sheriff. Now, when I take a critical examination of this officer running for sheriff, it really shows how white supremacy protects many of these rogue police officers, because here we have an individual who participated in a racial profiling incident where a family was practically terrorized for just being in the wrong place at the wrong time and having a vehicle with a license plate that had a similar number as one from a different state. And this individual, after participating in this wrongdoing, is able to go out here and then go to another police department and then talk about running for sheriff of that police department. Now, what's really troubling for me as related to this is that this individual would not only be leaving his position as a police officer where he was already tarnished his record, but he's going to be running for the office of sheriff, a higher position with higher authority. And if this individual would go out here and racially profile a family, he would create a culture where racism would continue to further go on. And that's one of the most disturbing things about this man going out here and running for sheriff. Now, I find it to be quite audacious that this officer is running for sheriff, because here you have an individual who has participated in racial profiling of a family and practically terrorized and traumatized a group of children and their mother, but he gets a pass to go back to another community and go out here and get another job in the exact where he actually gets more power. And that's really something I've heard Professor Black Truth talk about as related to these rogue police officers and these race soldiers. They oftentimes go out of their way to protect themselves, and the system goes out of its way to protect these individuals. So while an individual will go out here and participate in an incident like racial profiling or the murder of a black man, they can always just leave one job and then go to another. And when they go to that other job, they will always be covered and protected. And what we see right here as related to this incident is white supremacy in full effect, because this is a textbook example of what many people talk about as related to the institution of white supremacy protecting individuals like this and allowing them a pass to go on participating in the whole culture of white supremacy and the whole culture of racial profiling. Now, the police chief apologized for the incident, but the woman rejected it
and she should have rejected it, because this incident shows the culture that goes on behind the scenes. And this man being able to jump from one law enforcement job to another, even after participating in this egregious conduct, shows us how nothing really has changed as related to the culture of white supremacy protecting these rogue officers and these race soldiers. And what's really troubling about this is that this is happening even in the aftermath of the George Floyd conviction, while your Derek Chauvin is now going to prison for the crime he committed when he murdered George Floyd. This culture still goes on in police departments all across the country. And this is why so many are talking about wanting to get the tangible of justice, where these police officers who participate in this kind of behavior are punished for their crimes. Because once these guys go out here and do this kind of wrong, what they do is they leave one department and go to another, showing us that there is a national culture as related to protecting these rogue police officers and these race soldiers and these beta male suburban commandos and Karens. So this man gets a pass for going out here and racially profiling this family. Yes, he will go out here and leave the Aurora Police Department, and then he'll go over to the Los Angeles County Police Department and try to become a sheriff. And that's really, again, troubling, because he's going to go from one police department to another. And this does not change the culture of policing here in America, because these race soldiers can go from one department to another, continue participating in the same dysfunctional behavior, and they continue to just go from one place to the other, promoting this same culture. Once they get caught, they just leave one job and go to another, and it's like nothing happened. And that's, again, something people really need to think about, especially black people who are out here talking about getting the tangible of justice. Because if this officer can just leave one job and go to another, then there's no punishment at all. And if he can go out here and run for that sheriff's department role in Los Angeles County, that really shows that this man is not being held accountable. He will just, again, he's been punished for one job and he wants to go to another. And I'd have to say the people of Los Angeles, they really need to really think critically before they vote for this man, because if he's participated in one racial profiling incident, he will go out here and participate in promoting a culture of racial profiling and promoting a culture of racism against black and non-black people. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request the video, you can send a donation to my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to continue to support the channel, you can donate to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.